If you're watching this, there's a good chance that part of this story sounds familiar. She had every script memorized, every objection handled, every transition polished. She could navigate a discovery call like a chess master. On paper, she was ready. In reality, her close ratio told a completely different story. Maybe it's not your close ratio. Maybe it's the moment before you get on a call when something in you tightens up and you're not quite sure why. I've been there. Early in my career, I had all the tools and half the confidence. And I kept thinking, one more script, one more technique, one more framework, and it'll click. It never clicked that way. What actually changed things? Well, it was something nobody had told me to work on. She came to me convinced the problem was her process. She needed better words, a sharper framework, one more tactic to add to the arsenal. She spent months stacking technique on top of technique, and still nothing was moving. And honestly, that's the most common thing I see when someone comes to me for coaching. They show up technique starved, when what they actually are is belief starved. The techniques are fine, but usually the techniques are more than fine. But you can hand someone a perfect set of tools and they'll still fumble every job if they don't trust their own hands. Here's what I've learned after 50 years in selling. You can stack all the technique in the world on top of a shaky foundation, and the room will still feel it. Your mindset dictates your behaviors. Your behaviors dictate your results. It sounds simple. Most true things do. But let it land for a second because the implications are enormous. Here's what I mean by each layer, because this isn't just a motivational phrase. It's a diagnostic tool. Mindset, the beliefs running underneath everything, what you think about your value, your product, your right to ask for the sale. This is the foundation. Most people never examine it. Behaviors, how you show up, the pace of your voice, your body language, whether you hold eye contact when you quote your price or look away. These are the outputs of your mindset, not the inputs. Results, close rates, revenue, retained clients. The scoreboard, most sales training ties to fixed results by changing behaviors, skipping right over the mindset that's generating those behaviors in the first place. That's the mistake. You can't script your way around a belief problem. I've seen it happen. A client takes a new framework into a call, uses all the right words, hits every beat, and still loses the deal because something in the delivery was off. Not the words, the energy behind the words. We spend enormous time and money at the behavior layer. Scripts, openers, objections, handling frameworks, closing sequences. Behavior matters, and I'm not dismissing it, but here's what I've seen play out hundreds of times in real selling situations. You cannot fake your internal state, not for long, not where it counts. Your external behavior is a direct reflection of what's happening inside you. And trying to perform confidence you don't feel is frankly exhausting and transparent. It's actually easier to get your mind right than to fake it in your body indefinitely. Not harder, easier. Because when the internal state is solid, the behavior takes care of itself. The posture is right, the pace is right, the energy is right. You're not managing a performance. You're just being present with confidence. The woman I told you about earlier, well, she wasn't failing because she lacked technique. She was failing because she didn't genuinely believe she belonged in the room. She felt like a fake. Some part of her was waiting to be found out, waiting for the prospect to realize she wasn't worth their time. Her words said confident. Her whole nervous system said apologetic. And buyers, even ones who couldn't tell you why, picked up on the energy every single time. I can tell you exactly what apologetic energy sounds like in practice. It's the pause before you quote the price. And that tiny hesitation, your body is bracing for rejection before the prospect has even had a chance to respond. It's a way a sentence goes up at the end when it should go down. It's over explaining after you've already made a solid point, because somewhere inside you, you're not sure the point was solid enough. Buyers don't clock those things consciously, but their gut does. And their gut is what makes the decision. This is the part of sales that sales training never talks about because it can't be handed to you in a checklist. It requires something more uncomfortable, an honest look at what you actually believe about your product, about your value, about your right to be in the conversation at all. Entrepreneurs feel this especially sharply. You built something from scratch, which means at some point you had to become the person who could sell it. That transition doesn't happen automatically just because the product is ready. You can have a polished pitch deck, a tight offer, a clear value proposition, and still walk into a room with the energy of someone asking for a favor instead of someone offering a solution. Prospects smell the difference. They may not name it, but they feel it and they decide accordingly. The question is never just, is this a good offer? The question they're really actually answering is, does this person believe in what they're selling? If the answer is anything less than yes, you've already lost ground before you even said a word. So, before you download another sales script or sign up for another closing technique course, I want you to sit with one honest question. What do I actually believe about what I'm selling and about my right to sell it? Not what you say you believe, not the affirmations on your mirror. What does your gut tell you 2 minutes out from a sales call? What happens in your chest when the prospect pushes back? That's where the work is. Let me get more specific. Is there a number you hesitate to say out loud? A price point that makes you internally flinch before you even quoted it? Is there a type of prospect, a bigger company, or more prestigious title, someone who seems like they have more options than you, who intimidates you before you even dial? Because that hesitation, that flinch, that pre-call shrinking, that's the data. That's exactly where the gap is. And no amount of closing technique will patch that up. Here's the good news. Mindset isn't fixed. It shifts with evidence. Every win you've had, every client you genuinely helped, every result you've delivered, that's evidence. Collect it intentionally. Remind yourself of it regularly. Build the internal case for your own value the same way you'd build a case for a prospect. Now, here's something I have my clients do that sounds almost too simple. Keep a running list, a wins file, what I call a success journal, a note on your phone, whatever works, of specific moments where you made a real difference for a client. Not just closed deals, the call where something shifted, the client who told you 6 months later that what you helped them see changed how they do business. The moment you knew your work mattered. Keep a success journal. Before a big call, read 3 things from that list, not to hype yourself up, to remind yourself of the evidence. You've done this before. You have something real to offer. The room you're walking into needs what you've built. That's not arrogance, that's preparation. The market doesn't reward the most polished pitch. It rewards the person in the room who actually believes they have something worth buying. Get your mind right. The results follow. Now, if you're sitting there nodding because you know the mindset is the issue and you're just not sure how to actually shift it, that's exactly what I work on with my clients. Not just the scripts and the strategy, but the internal game underneath all of it, the beliefs that are quietly running the show and costing you deals before you even close. I have a limited number of one-on-one spots open right now. It's called the Sales Lifeline Session. One focused hour where we get to the real thing, not surface level tactics, the actual belief that's standing between you and the results you know you should be seeing. One session can change the conversation you're having within yourself and with every prospect after that. The link is below. I'm ready to do the work and stay savvy. I'll see you on the next video.